So I haven't done anything like this before, but some of my friends were talking to me and thought it would be a great idea to kind of document their vehicles in case they ever lose them somehow. Who knows, divorce, or maybe an accident, or just sold it on to the next person. And it would be kind of like an online keepsake. So I'm here with my buddy and his GTO, Tim Bullich, and we're going to try and hack through this. And this will be the first attempt at a little interview on what his car is. And of course, we have the footage that we were at SIR. And we'll start off here by, how long ago did you acquire this car?
Well, I acquired the GTO about 7 years ago from a fella, and it came equipped with a 455 Pontiac that was, I do believe, de-stroked to a 436, I do believe. Anyways, it had a turbo for 100 in it, with about a 4,200 stall and 513 gears when I acquired it. And
it was set up for eighth mile.
Yes, 8th mile racing. The car originally came out of Lethbridge, Alberta. Bought new there at the dealership.
That's cool. Do you have some paperwork on the car?
Actually, I got a hold of a guy that owned this car, the 69 GTO, and also my 70 Olds 442 back about 12 years ago, right around it was about 2006, I do believe it came over, so it would have been maybe 2007, 2008. And he actually sent me a picture of it.
Can I get that picture and we can put it up?
Yeah, I'll just.
We'll worry about it later, but if you can get it, and then I'll just
find it
put it up
on my Facebook there. And yeah, so that was pretty cool. And then he tells me, or I told him that I actually own both of the cars, and he proceeds to tell me that he has the original build sheet and the paperwork from when this car was bought brand new. And I just have to go to Moose Jaw and go collect it from him. But he told me that he'd give me all the documents for it, which was really cool of him. And I took it to SIR a couple times with the Pontiac motor that was in it, and it was about 14.5 to 1 compression, ran on straight C12, and then I added some nitrous to it and changed the gears from 513s to 411s. And I do believe the fastest time on the nitrous I ran was about 11.5 at 115, 116, somewhere right around there, if I do remember correctly. And well, throughout the years, I kind of ran that Pontiac a little bit too hard, and it didn't, it liked pulling 70, 200 RPM, but it only did it for about 20 passes. Then developed a little bit of a knock on the bottom end, imagine that. But whoever built that Pontiac motor, sure, I'd love to find out who built that motor, because it was a spicy meatball. Solid, flat tappet cam in it.
And not many big blocks really like to take 7,200 over and over, unless they're fairly well built.
Yeah, with some expensive parts. But it just loved high RPMs. I don't know, either that or I do. One of the two.
And you still have that motor, even though it's sticking in it?
It's actually sitting right in the corner there.
So not the red one, but the one underneath the plastic?
The burgundy, no, the red one.
Oh, the red one right there?
Yeah.
There you go.
I have plans to take it to Bruce at ABS and get him to, it's probably going to need a crank and a few other things, but it shouldn't be too much of a crazy fix to fix it back up.
So now if that motor's there, what's in it now?
Well, that's a whole nother story, but this is the first, it's got the first motor that I actually ever built, per se, that the person I built it for had a way more money than I do. And yeah, it's basically a 400 small block de-stroked to a 377. So it's got a shorter stroke than a 400, but it's got the same bore. It's an Eagle rotating assembly with H-beam rods in it, SRP pistons. It's 14-1 compression. It's got a solid roller cam in it, nitrous cam. I have a Victor Junior intake on it on top of Victor Junior 23-degree angle plug race heads that were the best Edelbrock heads you could buy back in the day. And
about how long ago was that?
oh, that motor was built in, it would be 16 years old this year.
And it's never been taken apart.
And it's never had the heads off. It's never had the oil pan off.
And it's only lightly abused, right?
Yes, I drive my stuff very nicely. It's probably nowhere to lie. Back in the day when I originally built it for the fella, we ran this thing on the highway every second day, probably burned a bottle of nitrous per day in it. I bet you, nowhere to lie, it's probably had 500 pounds of nitrous ran through that motor in the last 16 years.
That's some good tuning on the carburetor and fuel in there.
Well, you have to, and run good fuel.
Yeah. So now that was, what were you running for a nitrous shot then when it was first built?
150 shot is what we ran on it before.
And now I know because we were up at SAR a little while ago, and you have pumped it up a little bit more, and now you're at the 250?
I'm at the 250 on it now.
Okay. And you're thinking about hitting the 300?
Yep. I'm not scared to give it 300. A lot of guys in the States that have built these motors, usually they go to an aftermarket block because the 400 block is known to have some weaknesses in a few different areas. But that motor does have splayed main caps. It was a 2-volt main block originally, and had the machining done and put splayed main caps in it. The block isn't cemented or anything. It's full coolant passages throughout it. Most guys that run or that build 377s in the States, lots of them like them for circle track because they like high RPMs. Like I shifted at 8,200 RPM. Yeah, it's a screamer.
So now I remember when we were at the track, we were kind of hoping for some better numbers than we got.
Oh, absolutely.
And
I was the first guy to be disappointed.
So the best run I think was 10.6 though, wasn't it?
No, 10.9.
10.9?
10.9 at just about 125 mile an hour.
Okay, I know I recorded that one. There's one that I thought I missed, and I thought it was 10.6. It was 10.9, eh? I
have ran a lot faster times with it before. I think my best time with it was 10.2 at 128 or something like that.
Yeah, but there was some serious traction issues at the track that day. Lots of guys weren't hooking up. The air was really bad. And from what I could tell, not just to make them feel better, is that that everybody was running, I would say, close to a second slower than they should have been. I mean, that sounds extreme, but it
wasn't good air.
It was very, very true. Like, there was guys that I know should be running 10s, and they were running 11s. So maybe not quite a full second, but definitely 8/10ths, I would say that they were probably behind. Not quite a whole second, but so over 8/10ths, you got that back down into the 10.1, 10.2 area anyway. So why do you think you're slipping so bad besides bad track?
Well, we had a few issues. I had my front suspension, the Coney shocks that were in, drag shocks that were in here were probably from maybe 1982. So
well, this car was like, when this car was actually set up for racing? Like,
well, it's got
fiberglass front end and stuff on it.
They pretty much made it into a race car, I'm thinking, within 2, 3, maybe 4 years of its original life of coming from the factory, I do believe. Well, it only has 47,000 original miles on it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you have found some parts on here that like are old school drag racing parts that you cannot find anymore.
I added in I put some new front shocks on and drag shocks, and I added one shock in the passenger rear. I kind of have a little bit of a budget that I have to work with because I'm not a super rich guy, but we try and use whatever I got to make things work, and that's how I got a lot of respect from a few different racers here and there, is because I try and make things work.
This isn't his only car, and like I said, we have another. What year is the Cutlass? Right here?
This is a 442, but it's a 1970.
1970, and then he's got another 1978 Oldsmobile Cutlass, not a 442, that he we will definitely be making
That's a good story.
another definite video on that one to come. Maybe not in the near future, but definitely will be done on that one anyway. And he's not a newcomer to performance or hot rodding.
Still learning.
What we should probably talk about. I guess they probably can't see it in the camera, but you have your business logo over there. You could probably give that a little shot. He's the owner and sole worker of White Line Racing, a little garage of Performance Plus. And I've seen him do quite a bit of work for lots of people. If you're from the area here, you will see lots of White Line Racing stickers. I'll show you the picture of the 442 right now with that on the front. But other than that, we were talking about a little bit of traction issue with the back, and the back setup is done basically like a mid-70s.
It's a ladder bar setup with a 12-volt diff in it. It has rear coilovers on it. One thing I forgot to mention was the tranny. It's got a 2-speed power glide in it, built by Transmission Specialties. It's a 5400 stall converter in it with a trans brake, and it works well. 16 years that thing's been pounding on, and I think I've set the bands in the tranny once, and that was this year before I went to the track the last time.
And from what I know about you, you're not really a big fan of 2 speeds.
No, and I don't know, it was kind of something that I wanted to try, but I'd like to actually go back to a 3-speed in it and put about a 4500 converter in it, just to keep it in that power band, because it's got a pretty peaky power band from about 5,000 to 8,000 RPM, 4,500 say to 82 or whatever. That's where it really seems to shine. So the power glide seems to drop it back too much RPM, and then it's trying to build that back up. Well, a 3-speed would keep it in that RPM better, and I think it would actually go faster. 2-speed, some say give me better traction because it loads it up more in your first gear, but
there's obviously going to be benefits of one and the other.
Yep, no doubt.
Give and take there, right?
Absolutely.
I would like to see it set up with a 3-speed again. I mean, lots
too.
of guys love to run the 2-speed power glides on the track, and they're probably more consistent.
Yep, that they are.
But I think you would probably gain a little bit.
I think it would.
But you're going out again this upcoming weekend, heading back to SIR. I won't be able to make it to that one because of a different event that I have to be at. I won't be recording. So did I miss anything on there that you would like to mention with the car?
No, I think we pretty much got everything covered. Like it's a stock chassis. Like there's nothing really done to it chassis wise other than the fiberglass front end that's on it. And
you must have an idea on weight, eh? You know what
it's right around 3,000 without me in it.
Okay. So it's still fairly heavy.
3215 with me in
it. So we can shave a few pounds there by going on a diet, maybe.
Yeah.
Get you a couple more.
No doubt. Start working out a little bit.
This weekend, though, you were probably projecting to hit a little bit better of a number. I think the track's going to be a little bit better. Are they prepping the track a little bit better this time? Or?
I sure hope so. I think they're going to be. Last time it seemed like they only had it prepped for maybe 300 feet if I was a betting man on it. But
well, there was some runs there that I recorded that you looked pretty.
Oh, it was
pretty
sketchy.
Hairy all over the place there. Are you changing the tires this time or not?
No, I'm going to run the same tires. I'm just going to heat them up a little bit better.
A little bit better. Well, you heated them up a lot more than lots of guys last time.
Oh, we'll do it even better. Do a little John Force stuff.
Awesome. Well, if that's all we're going to mention on the car, thank you for giving me your time.
Anytime, buddy.
And thank you all for watching.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll have some more of this stuff in the near future.
Enjoy.
Have a great day.